My royal brother harbors a deep, seething hatred for me. He believes I pushed his beloved white moonlight off the cliff. Later, when he ascended the throne, the white moonlight returned clad in white robes, and was crowned empress. As for me, I was locked away in the court of shadows, living a life worse than death. He allowed the white moonlight to humiliate me, trample my dignity, and force me to kneel and apologize. Little did he know, I was already poisoned beyond salvation, with only days left to live. When the moonlight came gloating to flaunt her imperial pregnancy, I drew the dagger concealed in my sleeve and plunged it into her belly. Chi Wan Wan, die with me. After killing Chi Wan Wan, I too succumbed to the poison. Yet when I opened my eyes, I found myself reborn at 16. Chi Wan Wan hadn't yet staged her cliff jump death, and I was still the cherished Princess Tang Yue, treated like gold and jade. Watching Chi Wan Wan repeat her old tricks from my past life, I smiled coldly. Faking death? I'll make sure you die for real. As the blade pierced Chi Wan Wan's belly, a smile spread across my numb face. Caught completely off guard, she died by my hand. Yet I couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood myself. Succumbing to poison. The final image etched in my memory. It was my imperial brother, pushing open the gate of the court of shadows. His eyes bulging, his heart shattered. He cried out, "Tang Yue." How laughable. I regarded him as the closest person in the world, willingly drinking that poisoned fish soup for him, scheming to eliminate the fourth prince. Yet he chose to believe Chi Wan Wan, trapping me in the court of shadows for 10 years. My heart is dead as ashes, grinding me down and treating me like trash. In this new life, imperial brother, I won't do so much for you anymore. A cold tear fell onto my hand. When I opened my eyes again, I had truly returned 13 years in the past. My mother, the Empress Dowager, took my hand while tears streamed down her face. Tang Yue, the fourth prince's power grows ever stronger. If we don't find a way to eliminate him, he won't spare us even for the sake of his birth mother. Consort Ning. Consort Ning was my mother's sworn enemy. Mother Empress fought her for years before finally bringing her down. Now the fourth prince holds sway. Should he become crown prince and ascend the throne, Mother Empress and my fate would be clear. Therefore, Mother Empress pressed a packet of powdered medicine into my hand. For Mother Empress, for your imperial brother, Tang Yue, you must sacrifice yourself for now. His Majesty favors you most. If he learns the fourth prince poisoned you, his wrath will be thunderous. Then we can eliminate him and have no further worries. Mother Empress was right. But I gazed into her tear-filled eyes and remembered my previous life. When I was imprisoned in the court of shadows, she never once came to see me. It turns out I was merely a tool for her to clear obstacles for my elder brother. Once used, I was no longer needed. Her eyes held not a shred of pity for me, only hatred and calculation. Yet I once loved her so deeply. My heart felt like it was being pierced by needles. I asked earnestly, "Mother, have you considered what happens if I truly die from the poison?" "Nothing will happen," Mother swore. "This poison isn't instant. With timely treatment, life can be saved." Indeed, I survived that life. But the price was paying. I could never ride horses again, never shoot arrows. From the pride of heaven, I became a frail, sickly reed. It was precisely this irreversible price that enraged Father Emperor completely, exiling the fourth prince from the capital. On the journey south, Mother was ambushed and killed by him. All it took was sacrificing me. I curved my lips, took the medicine, and obediently bowed my head. "All right. I'll do as Mother says." The poison? I would definitely administer it. But it wouldn't be me who swallowed it. In my past life, a minor incident occurred during my birthday banquet. The fish soup laced with poison, intended to frame the fourth prince, was somehow placed before my elder brother, Zhao Yan. Seeing Zhao Yan, unaware of the danger, about to drink it, I stepped forward, feigning possessiveness over the food, and drank the entire bowl. It was delicious. The fish used was specially sent by the fourth prince. After finishing it, blood poured from my 7 orifices, and I lost consciousness. My mother bribed a maid close to the fourth prince, insisting he harbored resentment and poisoned me in revenge. Though the fourth prince never admitted guilt, he was still demoted by the emperor. This lifetime, I watched the little incident unfold at the birthday banquet. When the fish soup was mistakenly served to Zhao Yan, I didn't rise as I had in my previous life. Instead, I looked at my mother in utter bewilderment. My expression was blank and stunned. My mother frantically signaled to me, but I pretended not to notice. Seeing Zhao Yan lift the bowl to drink, she couldn't help but step forward herself. "Wait!" All eyes turned to her. Seeing my usually ruthless mother so flustered, I couldn't help but sneer inwardly. Sure enough, she only worries when Zhao Yan is involved. In my past life, she watched me finish the soup without so much as a gasp. Zhao Yan looked up in confusion. "Mother?" Her mother forced a smile. "Your sister adores fish soup. Today is her birthday. Why not let her picky palate try it first?" Hearing this, Zhao Yan set down the bowl. Just as my mother breathed a sigh of relief, the maid beside me suddenly spoke. "Your Highness wishes to drink more. There is more in the kitchen. I shall fetch it at once." As my mother turned in shock, the maid curtsied and swiftly returned with another bowl of identical fish soup. I drank it, sip by sip. Even after finishing it, there was no sign of the poison taking effect. A flicker of suspicion crossed Mother Empress's eyes. I knew she suspected I might not have poisoned it at all. After all, fearing poisoning oneself was only human. Disappointment flickered in her eyes, but relief dominated. Zhao Yan drank the fish soup right before her. Then the poison took effect. Blood. Third prince is coughing up blood. Amidst the eunuch's shrieks, Zhao Yan suddenly bled from all 7 orifices and collapsed onto the table. Chaos erupted instantly in the grand hall. My mother rose, disbelieving, and rushed to Zhao Yan's side. "My son!" Her fingertips trembled as she cried out. Her eyes reddened. "Summon the imperial physician. Quickly! Summon the imperial physician." The banquet ended abruptly. Everyone remained confined to the princess's residence, awaiting news from the physician. Fortunately, treatment came in time. Zhao Yan's life was saved. But the damage was profound. Henceforth, he would not only suffer from chronic weakness and aversion to cold, but also face great difficulty in fathering children. Hearing the physician's words, Mother's eyes rolled back, and she fainted. When she awoke, Mother summoned me alone to her chamber. Closing the door, she turned and lashed out at me with a slap. I stepped back to dodge it, feigning hurt as I looked at her. "Mother, why are you hitting me?" Mother's eyes burned with hatred. "I told you to poison yourself, not your imperial brother. Tang Yu, you have disappointed me beyond measure." My gaze swept past her to the sleeping figure of Zhao Yan on the bed. His eyelashes fluttered, signaling imminent awakening. I fell to my knees instantly, clutching the hem of her robe, tears welling up. "Mother, you misunderstand me. If I could die for my brother, what would my life matter?" When the banquet began, I followed your instructions and placed the poison in the fish soup. But I never imagined the kitchen would mix up the bowls. "Mother, is my brother all right?" "He drank the poison you gave me. You said it wouldn't kill him." Mother pushed me away impatiently. "You're useless at everything, yet manage to ruin everything. Even this trivial task you couldn't handle. Before, she'd at least feigned concern for me. Now, with Zhao Yan poisoned and her scheme nearly ruined, she finally shed her mask. I stifled a cold laugh. Seeing Zhao Yan's eyes open, I burst into tears and threw myself against the bedpost. Having failed both mother and my imperial brother, Tang Yu can only atone with her life. Tang Yu! Zhao Yan struggled to sit up, his voice urgent. I halted, rushed to his bedside, and threw myself tearfully into his embrace. Your Imperial Highness, you've finally awakened. It's all Tang Yue's fault. I'm so sorry. My sobs grew more intense. Zhao Yan's gaze softened instantly as he tenderly wiped my tears. Tang Yue, this isn't your fault. I heard everything. His reproachful gaze fell upon Mother Consort as he disapproved. Mother Consort. How could you let Tang Yue poison herself? Mother Consort frowned, stammering. Wasn't it to eliminate the fourth prince? Without ruthless tactics. How could we bring him down? But you shouldn't have sacrificed Tang Yue. She is your daughter. My only true sister. Before Qi Wanwan fell from the cliff, Zhao Yan had shown me considerable affection. So whenever I feigned helplessness, he couldn't bring himself to blame me, only Mother, for her cruelty. Facing Zhao Yan's accusing gaze, Mother's lips trembled twice. Thus, a rift formed between mother and son. On Father's side, suspicion soon fell upon the fourth prince. Just as in my past life, he was banished from the capital. I visited Zhao Yan at the prince's residence and told him everything, how Mother had used me and all the deeds she had done. Zhao Yan clasped my hand with heartache. Sister, you sacrificed so much. For my royal brother. No sacrifice is too great. Tears welled in my eyes. My expression filled with infinite sorrow. This tactic I learned from Qi Wanwan. Sure enough, Zhao Yan fell for it completely. He pulled me into his embrace, promising never to let me suffer injustice again. I smiled and nodded, but the smile vanished the moment I stepped out of the room. In my past life, Mother Empress forbade me from telling Zhao Yan these things. She said my brother was too kind-hearted. If he knew, he would surely thwart our plans. So Zhao Yan never knew how much I sacrificed for him to ascend the throne. I believed our bond as siblings was bound by blood. But later, when I pleaded with these sacrifices for him to release me from the Court of Shadows, his eyes filled with disappointment as he said, Tang Yue, wrongdoing must be punished. Confining you here instead of taking your life is already an act of mercy from this emperor, granted for the sake of past affection. You needn't weave these lies to deceive me. How utterly despairing. My dear brother. A tidal wave of hatred surged from my heart. I strode swiftly out of the prince's residence, only to suddenly see a woman in white dismounting from a carriage at the gate. In that instant, the taut string in my mind snapped. Qi Wanwan, the woman I'd dreamed of killing at midnight, stood before me once more. I trembled uncontrollably, summoning every ounce of strength to suppress the urge to strangle her. You bitch! My imperial brother isn't dead yet. Are you dressed in white to mourn him? Seizing any excuse, I lashed out and slapped her twice hard across the face. Qi Wanwan clutched her swollen cheek, stunned by my blow. Her eyes clouded over, a pitiful look forming. Your Highness misunderstands. I heard third prince had been poisoned and came specifically to visit. Visit? I sneered. My brother treated you like gold. Yet you barely acknowledged him. Now you want to pay your respects? Look at yourself, a merchant's daughter. Do you even have the right? My undisguised contempt instantly brought tears to Qi Wanwan's eyes. She knew it well. A merchant's daughter, no matter how much Zhao Yan favored her, he could never take her as his primary consort, much less crown her empress. To elevate her standing in Zhao Yan's heart, she had to make him recognize her importance, to make him feel he couldn't do without her. Playing hard to get would keep Zhao Yan's interest alive. Losing her and then regaining her would make him cherish her all the more. Thus, she orchestrated the charade of jumping off the cliff and faking her death. She became that pure, flawless moonlight in Zhao Yan's heart. And I was framed as the murderer. During those 10 years locked away in the court of shadows. I asked her, why me? She smiled sweetly then. Yet her eyes betrayed unhidden jealousy. Zhao Tangyue. It's because you're simply too detestable. From the moment I first saw you, your haughty attitude made me sick. She envied me. Envied my birthright as a princess. My innate nobility. So trampling me underfoot gave her the thrill of feeling superior. I clenched my teeth, tasting faint blood on my tongue, raising an eyebrow. I played the role of the high and mighty to perfection. Do you truly believe His Imperial Majesty would deign to notice a lowly woman like you? He merely craves a taste of plain fare after feasting on delicacies. I advise you to know your place. Otherwise, with a flick of this princess's finger, your entire family will be driven from the capital. Qi Wanwan flushed crimson. Her gaze toward me burned with even more envy and hatred. As expected, she would soon activate her plan to fake her death by jumping off a cliff. Come on. I'm waiting for you. In my past life, I held back because she was Zhao Yan's beloved. Though I never held her in high regard, I never considered killing her. It wasn't until she was imprisoned in the Court of Shadows that I finally ended her life. This lifetime, I won't show any mercy. I'll make sure your fake death becomes a real one. Under my threat, Qi Wanwan left the prince's residence. As for whether she'd go complain to Zhao Yan afterward, I wasn't worried. Zhao Yan felt guilty toward me. I'd just shed a few tears then, claiming I was only standing up for him. He wouldn't blame me for anything. The urgent task now was to prepare my forces. I left the prince's residence and headed straight for the palace. In the imperial garden, Father dismissed everyone. His eyes held a tender smile. Tangyue, have you suffered some injustice again? My heart ached. In my past life, every time I entered the palace to see Father, it was to pour out grievances and seek favors for Mother. I'd forgotten that compared to Mother, who only used me, and Zhao Yan, who didn't trust me, he was the one who cherished me most. Had he still been alive, he would never have allowed Zhao Yan to treat me this way. Father! I threw myself into his embrace, my fingertips trembling slightly. Father paused, then gently ruffled my hair. Tangyue has grown up. It's been a long time since you last sought comfort from your father. What brings you here today? Is there something you desire? I nodded solemnly. Father, I wish to borrow several members of the Cloud Pursuit Guard. Father's expression shifted, his eyebrow arching. Tangyue, do you understand the significance of the Cloud Chasers? I know, Father. The Cloud Chasers are a secret guard unit established at the founding of Great Zhao, loyal only to the Emperor. But I have no one trustworthy by my side. I must borrow a few from you. Father, please grant me this request. I clutched his hand, pleading like a child. Yet my father, who always doted on me, did not grant my request immediately. He stared intently at me and asked, do you seek the Cloud Chasers for yourself? Or for another, say, Consort Shin? Consort Shin was my mother. It seemed Father Emperor had long known that everything I had done before was connected to her. But this time was different. I met Father Emperor's gaze, my voice betraying an uncontrollable edge of lethal intent. I have enemies I must kill. Father Emperor stared deeply into my eyes. Then a faint smile spread across his face. Very well. He agreed. As he placed the token granting command of the Cloud Guard into my hand, he said meaningfully, Tangyue, remember this, rather than be a blade wielded by others. Become the one who wields the blade. Do you recall the story I told you about the Wenling emperor of the previous dynasty? The Wenling emperor of the previous dynasty was the daughter of Emperor Wenshu, once titled Princess Jiarong. I clutched the token in my hand. Suddenly, something new began to sprout within my heart. The current emperor has 6 sons and 3 daughters. The eldest prince died young. The second prince is imprisoned. And the 4th prince perished while being exiled from the capital. Of the remaining 5th and 6th princes, one is mediocre in talent, the other disabled. Had Zhao Yan not been poisoned, the crown prince's position would have been his for the taking. Yet through my scheme, he was poisoned. Should we truly clash, I might well prevail. Though I lack a mother empress to plot for me, father clearly stands by my side. Princesses Mingyan and Yuning, who once overshadowed me, are both married now. If I defeat Zhao Yan, won't the heir apparent's throne be mine? Once ambition ignites within the heart, it spreads like wildfire. I curved my lips, having enjoyed a rare night of peaceful sleep. After arranging everything, Qi Wanwan's invitation arrived as expected. On the picturesque Qishan mountain, she lured me to the cliff's edge under the pretense of sharing a secret. The wind lifted her plain white robes, delicate and fragile, like a white lotus blossom. Zhao Tangyue, you've always looked down on me, haven't you? Qi Wanyan spoke, with the cliff looming behind her. I watched her from a distance, unable to suppress a laugh. Yes, I do look down on you. Your father is a despicable man who favored his concubine over his wife. Your mother was an unwed servant who bore his child. And you are the lowly bastard child they produced together. Qi Wanyan's face paled, a flash of fury darting through her eyes. But she quickly regained her composure, her tone laden with meaning. Laugh. Your triumph won't last long. Zhao Tangyue, remember this debt you owe me. With that, she leapt off the cliff. In my past life, witnessing this scene, I was stunned for half a day, rushing back in panic to find help. But now, I strolled leisurely to the cliff's edge, gazing down at the bottomless river below, and lifted the corners of my lips. Qi Wanwan, this opportunity is entirely of your own making. The cloud pursuit guards brought forth a maidservant hiding in the shadows. I turned to see the girl trembling like a leaf, collapsing to her knees before me. Princess, spare my life. Her voice trembled with tears, pitiful and helpless. This was Qi Wanwan's planted witness. In my past life, after Qi Wanwan jumped off the cliff, I hadn't discovered the Qi family maid hiding here. So she secretly approached Zhao Yan, claiming she'd witnessed me push Qi Wanwan off the cliff. Zhao Yan then paid her a sum of silver and kept her well hidden. As for me, I was slandered beyond defense. Want to live? I pinched the maid's jaw, narrowing my eyes as I asked. She trembled uncontrollably, biting her lip as she nodded frantically. If you want to live, do as I say. What Qi Wanwan could offer you, this princess can give you tenfold. Yes. This servant will obey the princess in everything. Clinging to her like a drowning person grasping a log, the maid revealed everything Qi Wanwan had instructed her to say. I never meant to frame the princess. She threatened my mother and younger siblings with death. I had no choice. Enough. I understand. I waved my hand, and immediately, the cloud-chasing guards were dispatched to rescue the maid's family. Then, it was a matter of waiting for news from below the cliff. Qi Wanwan deliberately chose this spot to leap off the cliff precisely because a river ran below, one where bodies were nearly impossible to recover. Even without a corpse, everyone would assume she was dead. But in truth, she was a skilled swimmer. After jumping, she swam downstream, went into hiding for 3 years, and only resurfaced once Zhao Yan ascended the throne. I waited at Qishan for 2 hours before a Zhuyan guard returned with news. Qi Wanwan had been captured. In a small hut downstream, Chi Wanwan lay bound and gagged on the floor, hair disheveled. Beside her stood the man who had come to rescue her. Her childhood sweetheart, Wei Chuan. He was also my imperial consort in my past life, the very culprit who poisoned me, causing my sudden death. Good. Very good indeed. Biting hatred consumed my mind. Clapping my hands, I appeared before them with a smile. Chi Wanwan. Wei Chuan, pleased to see me? Their pupils contracted sharply, all color draining from their faces. Chi Wanwan thrashed violently, shrieking hoarsely. Zhao Tangyue. How are you here? You knew my plan all along and were waiting for me like a hunter by the cliff? Correct. Spot on. I batted my eyelashes coyly, crouching down to yank her hair. Amid her agonized wails, a smile spread across my lips, bright as the blazing sun. Thought you could frame me with a fake death? Let this princess give you a helping hand, turn you into a real corpse. I dragged her to the riverbank, grabbed her head, and forced her face into the icy water. Her limbs bound. She couldn't struggle, only gurgling sounds escaping her throat. I couldn't help but laugh, gripping her hair tightly. Aren't you such a strong swimmer? Let's see how long you can last underwater. No. Help me. Chi Wanwan opened her mouth to scream, but the river water quickly filled her nose and mouth. I pulled her out just as she was about to drown. The moment she gasped for air, I shoved her back down. Memories of my confinement in the Court of Shadows flooded back. Chi Wanwan, now Empress, ordered men to force me to kneel. She then dumped a bowl of rancid porridge mixed with dust and mud before me, demanding I lick it clean. When I refused, they pried my mouth open and shoveled it down. Spoonful by spoonful, the foul stench of rot and the sickening acidity surged down my throat. Nausea overwhelmed me, and I collapsed, vomiting uncontrollably on the floor. Chi Wanwan stomped on my back. Zhao Tangyue, do you still think you're that precious little princess? You're nothing but a lowly servant locked away in the Court of Shadows. Well, how does the porridge taste? Delicious? Rage and hatred burned in my chest. I nearly tore Chi Wanwan's scalp off before asking softly, well, how does the clean river water taste? Delicious? Chi Wanwan was utterly spent, lacking even the strength to glare at me. She only gritted her teeth and demanded, don't you fear Third Prince learning of this? I raised an eyebrow and patted her pale cheek. Zhao Yan will never know. Even if he does, it will be the truth I weave for him. Chi Wanwan, you won't be the only one I frame. I'll make you reap what you sow. Taste true agony. Tossing her aside, I turned toward Wei Chuan. He stared at me, trembling with fear. His eyes seemed calm, but the quivering pupils betrayed his terror. I smiled softly, then delivered a sudden kick to his chest. He spat out a mouthful of blood, hastily invoking his status. I am the son of Minister Wei, the son of Princess Tangyue. Kill me, and when my father finds out, he will never let you off. Heh. Threatening me? I ground my heel down hard on his head, laughing down at him. Don't think I don't know, you're also the son of a maid, which is why you and Chi Wanwan were so perfectly matched. Rest assured, I'll grant your wish. I'll arrange a heartrendingly tragic death for you both. In my past life, after Wei Chuan hid Chi Wanwan, he took the imperial examinations the following year and was crowned top scholar. I married him because he personally petitioned the emperor for my hand. My consent, however, was for Zhao Yan's sake. Mother Empress said Wei Chuan's exceptional learning would aid my imperial brother, so I sacrificed my own happiness. After marriage, we lived as polite strangers. I never imagined he too was Chi Wanwan's man. From the day he married me, he laced our wedding wine with an undetectable slow-acting poison. Had I not suddenly bled one day, I might still be unaware. I had assumed my physical discomfort stemmed from the aftereffects of that fish soup. Wrenching open Wei Chuan's mouth, I emptied an entire packet of medicine down his throat. Eat up. Eat plenty. This is a divine elixir, unparalleled in the world. It will make a man's vigor surge, driving him to the brink of life and death until he expends his essence and perishes. Wei Chuan, see how good I am to you? I've chosen such a death for you. Wei Chuan's eyes bulged as he swallowed the powder, struggling desperately to break free. But it was too late. Intense desire made his eyes red as if bleeding. I ordered the cloud guard to cut his bonds, then tossed the tightly bound Qi Wanyan to him. No. No. Brother Wei. Qi Wanwan tried to rouse Wei Chuan's senses. But he was now consumed by lust, transformed into a beast driven solely by primal urges. Piercing screams echoed relentlessly until the sun dipped below the western horizon. When all sound within the room finally ceased, Wei Chuan was dead. Qi Wanwan, too, met her end in the depths of madness, her neck snapped by Wei Chuan's errant hands. I stared coldly at the two corpses, unspent hatred churning within me. Had I not feared complications, I would have captured them to torture at my leisure. Their swift deaths were far too anticlimactic. The cloud pursuit guard asked me what to do next. I raised an eyebrow with a smile. Throw them into the river. Of course. Remember to tie stones to them, so they'll never float again, doomed to eternal torment. The conspiracy between Qi Wanwan and Wei Chuan was kept secret, few knew of it. Who would suspect I was the one who killed Wei Chuan? After all, I had never even met him. Standing by the riverbank, I watched the two bodies, weighted down with heavy stones, sink beneath the water until they vanished from sight. The dark cloud that had hung over my heart was finally swept away. Returning to the capital, I went to see Zhao Yan. He was convalescing in bed. Upon hearing that Qi Wanwan had vanished, he nearly coughed up blood. Tang Yu, what on earth is going on? I shook my head innocently and beckoned to Qi Wanwan's maid. Your Imperial Highness. I don't know either. Ask her, she seems to have something to tell you. The maid knelt and kowtowed to Zhao Yan. Your Highness. I am Xiaoli, the maid attending Miss Qi. Before she departed, she asked me to convey these words to you. She said her humble origins made her unworthy of your Highness's affection. She had always refused your advances because she already had a childhood sweetheart. But her beloved came from a noble house that forbade them from being together. So, to pursue their own happiness, they decided to elope. Please, Your Highness, do not seek them out again. Set her free. Wanwan. I am deeply grateful. As the maid finished speaking, a bitter expression flashed across Zhao Yan's face. Did she truly say that? Absolutely true, Your Highness. How could the servant dare to deceive you? I stepped beside Zhao Yan and whispered comfortingly. Your Imperial Highness. It seems this was why Miss Wanwan never consented to you before. There are plenty of fish in the sea, do not grieve too deeply. Zhao Yan closed his eyes and waved the maid away. He truly never sought Qi Wanwan again. News of Wei Chuan's disappearance soon spread throughout the capital. My agents embellished the tale of their childhood friendship. It became a tale of divine providence, star-crossed lovers who eloped for their love. The vanished silver and gold from the Wei residence became irrefutable proof. The funds he had prepared for Qi Wanwan to fake his death for 3 years. Now they were deemed the capital for their elopement. The matter drew to a close. After the discussions, no one pursued whether they were dead or alive. I went to the palace to return the token to my father, the emperor. But he told me to keep it. His gaze deep as the sea. Tang Yu, hold fast to the power in your hands. When your wings are fully grown, Father will personally write the imperial edict for you. This was almost an explicit command. I suppressed my excitement, bowed, and withdrew. Afterward, I traveled to gather my own forces. I knew who would become the court's new pillar of support, and how the capital's political landscape would unfold. Before being confined to the court of shadows, a miscarriage of justice had occurred in the court. Chu Hanshi, the Minister of Revenue, was impeached for embezzlement, his estate confiscated, and he was imprisoned. After enduring great peril, his case was overturned by Chancellor Luin, and Chu Hanshi became a member of the Chancellor's faction. The two men shared a close personal bond. Seizing this opportunity, I immediately presented crucial evidence proving Chu Hanshi's innocence after his impeachment. When his family was being confiscated, I rushed to the scene bearing an imperial edict. Cease. No disrespect shall be shown to the minister's family. By then, the Chu household lay in utter chaos. My arrival was like a ray of dawn piercing the darkness. Chu Hanshi was cleared of all charges and smoothly brought under my command. Dressed in his official robes, he stood with unflappable integrity and asked me directly, "Your Highness, this servant will never forget your kindness. But may I ask, is it you who require my service? Or the third prince?" I curved my lips. "Of course. Me. Your servant understands." After receiving his answer, Chu Hanshi bowed and withdrew. My involvement in court affairs grew ever deeper. Yet most of the turmoil stirred in the front court was deflected by my father, the emperor. I only needed to act freely, using my own abilities to make them submit. The first to sense something amiss was my mother, the Empress Dowager. She hurried to the princess's residence to see me, her voice laced with suspicion. "Tang Yu, why did you not consult your mother before undertaking these actions?" I sipped my tea nonchalantly, blowing away the rising steam. "Why should I consult you?" Her eyes widened, her voice suddenly sharp. "I am your mother. Without my help, what could you possibly accomplish? Look at Chu Hanshi, whom you saved." I went to him to plead for Yenner, to secure him a favorable post before the emperor. Yet he paid lip service while acting against me? It infuriates me. Under her furious gaze, I smiled. "He is my man. Naturally, he won't work for you, nor will he work for Zhao Yan." Mother was stunned. "What do you mean?" "I mean, Mother, I will no longer be controlled by you." I stood up, meeting her gaze directly. "Nor will I continue to work for Zhao Yan's benefit." Absurd. Mother raised her hand, ready to strike me again. But I had trained in horsemanship and archery, possessing some martial arts skill. I seized her hand, rendering her unable to move. She could only glare at me fiercely, sneering, "You're just a princess. Even if His Majesty protects you now, once he passes and a new emperor ascends, without Yin Yan's protection, how could the other princes tolerate your scheming? I advise you to think clearly. Only with Yin Yan as emperor will we mother and daughter have a good life." "No." I shook my head. "The truth is, even if my brother became emperor, I wouldn't have a good life. To avoid being carved up by others, the only way is to become the new emperor myself. Relying on someone else's favor will never compare to holding power in your own hands." The ambition in my eyes was no longer concealed. My mother recoiled in shock, exclaiming in astonishment, "You want to be emperor?" I acknowledged it calmly. "Why not? I am also Father Emperor's child." "Impossible," Mother Empress declared flatly, her gaze upon me as if I were dreaming some impossible dream. "With imperial princes still alive, who would support a princess like you as emperor? Minister Chu, Chancellor Lu, and several other ministers, they would all agree." I released Mother Empress's hand and smiled faintly. "And of course, Father Emperor, nothing is more powerful than the Emperor's support. As long as he names me Crown Princess, I become the legitimate heir. No title of princess or prince can outweigh an imperial decree." After sending my mother away, I formally began attending court sessions. Father's intentions were clear. Though some ministers opposed, their voices were gradually silenced. Amidst the busyness, I hadn't visited Zhao Yan in ages. That day, however, he sought me out. Seeing me in my official robes after court, his expression flickered with complexity as he said, "Tang Yue, you've changed. People always change." I didn't invite him in. Standing, I asked, "What do you want?" My coldness stung him. A flicker of dismay crossed his eyes. He pressed his lips together and said, "I heard you quarreled with Mother. She's deeply distressed in the palace and hopes I might persuade you." "That won't be necessary." I cut him off. "Do you know why Mother quarreled with me?" Zhao Yan paused, then nodded. "Do you also think I'm unfit to be emperor?" I asked. "No," Zhao Yan explained, sounding alarmed. "It's just that you are, after all, a woman. Your Imperial Highness." I lifted my eyes, devoid of any trace of humor. "It is you who are frail and ill now." Zhao Yan paled instantly. Under prolonged concealment, I had grown strong and capable. Father had resolved to name me Crown Prince of Dazhao. On the day the edict was drafted, drizzling rain fell ceaselessly. I rode to the temple to offer incense. But on the return journey, assassins suddenly attacked. Numerous black-clad figures leapt from the woods, striking with vicious intent, seeking to take my life. Yet before they could reach the carriage, they were slain by the cloud-chasing guards. To prevent any survivors from swallowing poison, I ordered their jaws dislocated. Through brutal interrogation, the name of the mastermind was extracted. That day, I became the Imperial Princess of Dazhao. That same day, I learned of my mother's plot to kill me. Though I had long ceased to expect anything from her, I never imagined her cruelty could reach such depths. Within Jinghua Palace, I tossed the assassin's confession before her and asked coldly, "Anything else you wish to say?" Mother Empress threw her head back in laughter, smashing the priceless purple jade cup on the table. Her gaze fixed on me with fury. "Why haven't you died? Why haven't you died?" I paused. "I've disappointed you, Mother Empress." "Don't call me Mother Empress. I'm not your mother." She suddenly went mad, her nails digging into the tabletop as she laughed coldly. "You're the daughter of that whore Lin Ruyu. My true daughter died long ago." Struck as if by lightning, I froze in place, my mind blank for a moment. My fingers trembled slightly. "Who is Lin Ruyu?" Jealousy and hatred flashed in Consort Shen's eyes. Lin Ruyu was a silk-washing girl the emperor met during his southern tour years ago. She disliked the palace and left his majesty after giving birth to you. The emperor, unwilling to see your origins slandered, had me, who had just given birth to a stillborn child, raise you in place of my true daughter. Understand? You are merely a substitute occupying my daughter's place. I have not a shred of love for you. I met Consort Chen's hate-filled gaze. Recalling these 2 lifetimes, she truly had never loved me. So this was the truth. I wanted to ask her if Lin Ruyu was still alive, but I realized asking her was pointless. Only Father Emperor knew. I turned, preparing to seek out Father Emperor. Yet I saw Zhao Yan standing blankly outside the door, unsure how long he'd been there or how much he'd overheard. He looked at me with a complex expression. "Tang Yue." I didn't respond to him, brushing past him. Timing Hall. I knelt before Father Emperor, asking him about Lin Ruyu. Was it true? He fell silent for a moment, his gaze filled with nostalgia as he looked at me, then nodded softly. "It is true, Tang Yue. Your birth mother was actually Ruyu." Father Emperor retrieved a portrait from a hidden compartment. On the yellowed canvas, the woman with the faint, radiant smile bore an uncanny resemblance to me. Lost in memory, his eyes brimmed with profound affection. "Years ago, During my southern tour, our vessel met a storm and sank to the riverbed. She saved me. We lived together in secret, sharing meals and growing fond of each other. Later, when officials tracked me down, she learned I was the emperor. Ryu disliked the palace. She craved unrestrained freedom, wishing only to live a carefree life. Upon learning my true identity, she changed her mind. Yet I had already pledged myself to her before heaven and earth. And we had a child. I promised her the position of empress. But she refused the title, asking only that I arrange for her to reside in the southern imperial palace. After giving birth to you, she left. I couldn't help but ask, where did she go? Father shook his head, I do not know. I have restrained myself from seeking her out, granting her freedom. Perhaps she went to the grasslands, to the desert, to see the crabapple blossoms she loved. Even in these few words, I could feel Father's longing. No wonder he never named another empress. No wonder he loved me so deeply. But only because I was the child born to the woman he cherished most. After leaving the palace, Zhao Yan awaited me at the imperial princess's residence. He wished to plead for Consort Chen's life. I regarded him coldly, finding his naivety striking. Assassination of the imperial princess is a capital offense. Sparing her life is already an act of mercy. Zhao Yan protested urgently, but she did raise you. Precisely because she raised me, I let her live. Only, she shall spend the rest of her days confined to the secluded courtyard. I turned away coldly. No matter how Zhao Yan pleaded, I remained unmoved. After several visits where he never saw me, he gave up. I met his gaze with unruffled calm, my eyes settling on his disheveled tunic. Of course I am alive. Zhao Yan approached me, his expression a mix of laughter and tears. He reached out, as if to touch me. I thought you were dead, trapping me in the court of shadows for 10 years. My heart turned to ashes, ground down and trampled. I watched Zhao Yan before me, catching the shock that flashed in his eyes. His outstretched hand fell limp, his eyes reddening with a hint of regret. I'm sorry. Only after your death did I discover you were wrongfully accused. Tang Yu, can you forgive me? I sneered, you should ask that corpse in the shadow court to forgive you. I flung several memorials at his feet, these are all accusations against you. You went to great lengths to rescue that woman from the shadow court. Didn't you? Too bad the power now lies in my hands. Since you cherish her so dearly, go accompany her in the underworld. Guards. Under Zhao Yan's sorrowful gaze, he was dragged away, growing ever more distant from me. Soon, he vanished entirely. The last shadow clouding my vision faded with his departure. In the 30th year of Xuanwu, my father abdicated. I ascended the throne as emperor, seated upon the dragon chair. Radiant light pierced the dark clouds, illuminating the jade bricks before the Tai Hall. I lowered my gaze, surveying the officials below. The girl once confined to the hidden courtyard now stood at the highest point. From this day forward, my eyes would see only the welfare of the people and the state, the vast lands and rivers. The end.